I was stranded in Baghdad airport while trying to fly out to London, and then was denied boarding in Istanbul. Here's everything you need to know about flying out of Baghdad, the terminal, the lounge that most travelers never know about, where you can fly to and from here, and the mistake that got me denied boarding in Istanbul. But first, our journey started a few hours earlier. I took a taxi to the airport from the hotel at 11 p.m. My flight was at 4 in the morning. It's always good to come in early. When you arrive at Baghdad airport, you will be passing by security checkpoints with army and regular police, and in each of these checkpoints they will scan you, they'll search the car, they'll take out all of your items, and they'll get sniffed by dogs. They'll even do a search at the entrance. The security people are also really nice. They'll even crack jokes. They even let us pet the German shepherd. It's not as bad as I'm making it out to be in comparison to 2020 when I was there last time, so make sure you don't bring in too much stuff. It makes your life easier and their lives as well. This is what the entrance looks like at night, and when they do these security searches, I don't have any footage because you can't record. They will take out every single pack and then they'll put them back in. This is what Baghdad airport looks like. The journey started off fairly normally. There wasn't any announcement. Here are some interesting facts. There are direct flights from here to both Tehran, Damascus, and Moscow as well. Yeah, there's still flights to Moscow from Baghdad. When the Americans captured Baghdad airport in 2003, these systems were stuck at 1991, the exact year when Iraq was cut off from the international community. Before you head to passport control, you first need to check your bag. The trouble started when at first they said it was a technical delay of some kind. They just kept pushing it back 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Then they announced an hour later, because with the way travel works in Iraq and because of security reasons, you technically have to check in even if you don't have any bags through that counter. So until that happens, you can't technically leave the country. Once you're through the Pegasus counter, and you can't really come in until a security scans your ticket, then the passport control people will stamp your passport, and then you're officially out of the country. This took an hour and a half. So by the time I entered, it was around 12:30 at night. I did go to this lounge in Baghdad. This is really rare access. You can actually even enter it if you have an Amex card. They do have good quality. There's no alcohol, but there's a lot of food, like this kind of food. There was unlimited pizza. By the time that we were supposed to fly out around 3:30 when the flight was supposed to open, they were like, oh, you're now delayed till 6 in the morning. There were a lot of people who were also flying out. Many were going to European destinations like Norway, the UK, Sweden. And at 4:30 they opened the gate. They were like, yeah, you can now go to there. So I was between the lounge and between the different sitting areas because I could still go back to the lounge. When we arrived at the gate, it was sheer chaos. A lot of these people never really travel internationally either, and they don't know what the hell is going on. I didn't know either, because getting stuck in Baghdad isn't exactly on anyone's bingo card. Baghdad is just one of these like crazy places if you do fly out. Pegasus were kind enough to compensate us with juice that we could not drink on the train, but we had to drink it inside the airport because they were like, this does not go in Turkey. You better drink it now in here. That's the first sign of real trouble. So we get on board, and this is how many people were waiting at like 5 in the morning. A majority of them are indeed Iraqi, and there were even quite a few Turkish tourists. It just shows how things swing between different countries between the years. We get in, and when we get in the plane, they were like, yes, sir, you can't film. The flight from Baghdad to Istanbul takes around 2 to 2.5 hours depending on weather. We departed at 5:30 a.m. Baghdad time. Yeah, this is what the interior looks like. It is a fairly standard Pegasus Airlines plane. I've done a review of their it looks like, and this is where I start to get worried because I have a flight to London Stansted at around 10 in the morning, I think. So that would leave me a very short, tight connection, and it will get bad, believe me. Unfortunately, I couldn't film this trip because I was in the middle seat and there was nowhere to film, but I saw the most beautiful sunrise over Baghdad, and unfortunately, this was the only footage I could take of this plane. I slept through most of this flight because I was already up for over maybe 20 hours, and that's pretty normal in my line of work, but this was extra. A lot of the people were just sleeping, they were just dead. We landed at 8 in the morning, and I had a really tight collection of 15 minutes like to get to the flight. This is when the trouble started. Everything started to get delayed in Istanbul airport. Security took longer, the people were taking much longer. Nobody met us at the gate because there were a lot of people who had tight collection as well. It wasn't just me. My plane was scheduled to go at 10 a.m. But again, it's not so easy to get through Sabiha airport. They've made it a lot easier than past years. This is what I had to go through. This is where I make my first mistake. I decide to go to the Pegasus help desk, and I wait for like 5 to 10 minutes, and they're like, yes sir, just go to your gate as normal. They'll let you fly out. It's no problem. Shocker, complete shocker. I get to my gate and they're like, sorry, sir, you missed the time to fly. I had to go back to the Pegasus area again. They're like, you just need to wait, sir. An email is going to come through. And an email did come through. And they're like, yeah, we're just going to book you on the next flight out. And I couldn't do it. So Pegasus wasted a lot of my time and really stressed me out because I had to rush through security to get to that. This isn't the end of the story. Now, remember all those other passengers? Yes, all those other passengers. Well, they were as angry and as tired as I am, and even crankier than me. Now, these Iraqis, they're completely losing, for PG-13 purposes, let's just say they're losing their marbles. And they're like screaming and shouting at the customer service people. They have no idea what's going on. And the customer service people, they're tired as well. Like, you can see it in their eyes. I think the problem here lies probably with Pegasus Airlines in that they should have just had a representative meet us at the gate and say, anyone who has a flight of under 3 hours, if you can't make it, we're just going to book you on the next flight out. That would have just saved a lot of time. Instead, they just wasted everyone's time so much. And it was nice of them to give me like a free meal as a compensation, and also which made my thing easier. And they did book me on to the next flight out. But it would have just been easier if I could have just gotten on that original flight because I was literally there at the gate. And but it is what it is, you know. I mean, that is the reality of travel. You just gotta learn to accept it. There is one last remaining arc to this story before we wrap up, but I was able to fully record like what it's like to fly out from Sabiha to London Stansted. Stay tuned for that video. It's coming out in a couple of weeks' time. I then go on the flight to London, and here's where the other problem happened. I actually did pay for a window seat, but I was never compensated for that. But luckily, the universe rewarded me with an empty seat, so which is a happy ending. I hope you guys have enjoyed this travel chaos video. I have another London travel chaos video where I missed 3 trains in one go because of one of the London networks was so bad, all in the span of 10 minutes, and I was stuck there for half an hour. If you want to watch that video, yeah, so I hope you guys have enjoyed this crazy travel video. Would you fly with Pegasus Airlines? Would you not fly with Pegasus Airlines? I think the overall Pegasus did an okay job. It wasn't great in that they generally did fairly compensate us, like with a free meal ticket, with booking us on board. They could have just communicated things a bit better and would have saved all of those people a bit less stress because many of these international travelers, especially from places like Iraq, they've never flown before, so they don't really get this part. Having a representative just at the gate, just say, or even having the flight crew say, oh, if you're under 3 hours, we're gonna book you out. That would have just saved everyone a lot of time. But instead, they just wasted and stressed everyone out. So, yeah, would you fly with Pegasus? Let me know. Thanks so much for watching. And don't forget, the Sabiha to Stansted flight review is coming out in a couple of weeks. It's a really cool trip, and we get to pass through some really mountains. Thanks so much, everyone.